All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 12:33 on my end. Thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. We're here for the MindSet Bootcamp Session 1. Just a quick housekeeping. Today's training is going to be about an hour of training plus a Q&A after. It's a lot of great information during the training, but as we know during the Q&A, you also get a lot of valuable information, so we hope that you stay for the full session. We kindly ask you that you please mute yourself unless you're speaking, and that way we don't get any interruptions or feedback from your microphones. If you have any questions or comments, please use the chat dialog on the right or use the raise your hand feature. Sergio will be monitoring the chat and I will be assisting with that as well. And chat interaction is highly encouraged. You might even win a prize. So make sure that you're checking those chats as our speaker is giving the instruction today. And Sergio?
Awesome.
You're next. Thanks.
Thank you. I purposely put my picture up just for a quick second, okay? So just, let's see if you recognize this sound. All aboard! This is the Jarvis. I get the benefit and the pleasure of introducing our speaker today, Mr. Jarvis. My name is Sergio Lujan. I'm in the mortgage business. I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to introduce and to just really bring value with our speaker. I met Jarvis. He's a success coach out of San Diego, the morning hero. And this man literally changed my life. There's different people that come in your life at different seasons in your life. And this man came into my life last fall when I was at one of my own personal lowest points in my just personal life. He doesn't know this yet, but he was very instrumental in helping me get through a very dark period in my life. And I'm forever grateful for that. And I fell in love with his message. The message that he gives is really powerful, in the systems that he has can really make a difference for all of us. And so without further ado, Mr. Jarvis Leverson from San Diego, our morning hero, he'll take over.
What's up everyone? Can everyone hear me? How you guys doing out there? If you can hear me, give me some thumbs ups. Well, I can only see a few of you. I'm using my Bluetooth earphones, so I'm testing this out, mainly because I'm working from home and I have an 8-month-old son at home, so he tends to get a little loud, so I'm trying to mitigate that as much as possible. I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if this goes according to plan. Can you guys see my screen okay? All right. Next step is I want to pull up the chat. Today, we're going to dive deep. We're going to dive deep, and I want to share with you guys something that's been so profound in my life, and I'm going to walk you through kind of my trajectory and my success path. 3-step morning routine that could drastically improve your focus and double your productivity. Does that sound good to anyone? Does anyone want to improve their focus, or you guys got already dialed in? You guys, I'm talking to the overachievers here. You guys are already dialed in. You don't need this, right? Okay, well, if you do, for those of you that do want to improve your focus and double your productivity, I'm so honored to be here today to share this with you. Sergio, thank you so much for inviting me. I can't wait to deliver this for you. Now, there's a couple ground rules that I want to share before we get started. The first one is, don't laugh if you hear my son in the background. He is teething right now, so he loves to let his voice be known. So, you know, we're all working through the challenges of being at home through these chaotic times. So bear with me if my son provides a little entertainment for us. The second one is, this is going to be very interactive. I normally give this live and, you know, in a big event. And so it's easy to see people and see their reactions and get feedback. And so I can know exactly how to fine tune this. But since we're all doing this virtually, the only way I get feedback from you, the only way that we get that interaction is if you chat. So let's test this out right now. Go ahead and put your email address in the chat box. And the reason that is because we're going to go very fast. I'm going to be covering a lot of information, and I'm going to just email you this presentation afterwards. So if that's something you want, put your email in the chat right now. And that also test the chat feature to make sure that we're good to go there. And while you do that, I'm going to see if I can pull up the chat because I don't have it. Let's see, where is the chat? There it is. Can you, so I just pulled up the chat on my screen. Can you guys see the chat on my screen? Give me a thumbs up or done. Okay, great. I want to make sure you can't see the chat as I see it. Okay, so, and you might as well just go ahead and keep your fingers next to the keyboard because I'm going to be asking a lot of questions as we go. Another big thing that we have going on is we got some prizes. Throughout, I'm going to be talking about some different systems and things that you, well, you know what, let me try something else out. We got some prizes coming, everybody. I'm going to be sharing some different systems and tools and techniques, and I'm actually going to be giving away some of this fancy stuff that I'm going to share with you. So pay attention. There's going to be some trivia at the end, and for those that get a few right answers, you can actually walk away with some pretty cool stuff. So with that being said, let's start off on a note. Let's start off with why are you here? You know, I focus on helping people hit their goals, helping them find, you know, fine tune their life, incorporate a couple of tips, tricks, and healthy habits that can drastically accelerate them to hit their goals faster. So in order to provide some context, it would help me to understand, where are you right now? Where do you get stuck right now? If you can use the chat right now, help me understand some of the biggest challenges you face when it comes to hitting your goals. That way I can fine tune my approach. I can make sure that this is the most impactful time for you because I don't want this to be a waste of your time. I want you to get enough out of this. So go ahead and just type a few things in. I want to hear a few things of what's holding you back right now. Not motivated, okay. So I definitely, I'm sure you'll identify with my story when I go through and fully introduce myself. Time management, that's a big one. Okay, how do you stay focused and organized and on time? Not just time management, but effective time management. How do you like make your time really worth it? Getting restarted, okay. Balancing, that's a big one. The balancing act. How do you fit it all in? Again, that goes back to time management. Just not enough time in the day, right? Prioritizing, you know, doing the big important work and not getting lost in the minutia of the day. I mean, gosh, how many people can identify with that? Getting lost in the trivial work of the day. You know what? You all are in the right place because every single one of the things you all noted, from time management to prioritizing to balance and burning out and restarting, all of that, I identify with all of that because that was me. I want to take a minute to introduce who I am. Born and raised in Chicago. First of all, where are you guys from? Type in the chat, where are you from? Let's do a quick roll call. Where are you guys from? I'm from Chicago. Any Midwesterners in the house here? Cali, okay, of course, we got some Cali, San Pedro, Hemet, LA, Russia, yeah, shout out, we got an international audience here. Temecula, San Diego, okay, all right, we got a kind of diverse crowd here. So I'm from Chicago. Looks like I'm the only Midwesterner. Wow, okay. So I'm from Chicago, born and raised. I went to the University of Illinois for computer engineering. Now, at the time, U of I was #1 in the nation for computer engineering. So really, really great school. Ended up going into work for a couple of really respected companies, Motorola, Texas Instruments, as a computer engineer. And, you know, turns out I was really good at engineering. And all engineering is finding an efficient way to solve a problem to get to a desired result. And that's essentially, as an engineer, what you do. All day long, you're presented with a problem and you find a more efficient way to solve that problem to get to the desired result. And I was really good at that. So I learned a lot in computer engineering. What I also learned was I didn't want to be a computer engineer. I didn't want to be stuck behind a computer screen in a lab for 12 hours at a time. So I quickly transitioned. So we're getting a little feedback. If everyone can mute your lines. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, I believe I believe we got the problem fixed. So I didn't want to be stuck in a computer lab for the rest of my life. So I went into sales. Like all great people do, they go into sales. And what I found out was I was really good at that too. Turns out that engineering mindset applied well to sales, because all you're doing, I learned how to hack the sales process and find an efficient way to get to get my desired result, which in that case was to get a transaction or to get a client. So within 1 year, I moved up to a boutique software services firm and became the #1 sales rep, making a lot of money. This was kind of like the high point. Everything was flowing. I was making a lot of money. Me and my girlfriend just moved into a penthouse condo together in Little Italy in San Diego, overlooking the water. We were throwing these fancy dinner parties, and on the outside, everything looked like we had it in order. Everything appeared like it was in working order. This is actually a picture of us right at that point. What you don't see is that even though on the outside everything was in order, behind the scenes, everything was falling apart. At this point in my life, I was overstressed, overwhelmed, frantic, chaotic, frenzied, scattered, not organized. My days were just a fury. Therefore, I was working really late, always working. Everything else got put to the back burner. My relationship got put to the back burner. My health got put to the back burner. Everything took a back seat because I was just frantically working all the time, weekends, nights, and that wasn't sustainable. I quickly ballooned up to the worst shape I've ever been in my life. I got 40 pounds overweight. My girlfriend broke up with me. I lost my job. I went from the #1 sales rep down to the last sales rep because everything in my life started to unravel. I officially burnt out. I had officially burnt out. After my girlfriend broke up with me, I had to move out of our penthouse and I moved back to Chicago with my mom. And I was sleeping on her couch. So there I was, 36 years old. I went from the penthouse, and this is an actual picture of our condo in Little Italy overlooking the water. I went from the penthouse back to my mom's couch. This is me on my mom's couch. This is an actual picture my mom took of me in my depressed state. No hope, no plan for my life, no motivation, no passion, no next step. I was just going through the motions. Anyone ever been just going through the motions before? Not really excited for anything, just going through the motions. Exhausted, and I was just stuck. This was my low point. It was at this moment that I knew something had to change. This was a deciding moment for me, and it's this moment that I made the decision to do something different. I knew that I wasn't going to get a different result by doing the same thing, so I decided that I had to do something different to get a different result, and that started my hero journey. From there, I got really, really deep into personal development, and I consumed as much knowledge as I possibly could. I was going to Tony Robbins events, and I was reading all the books and listening to all the podcasts and taking all the online courses and getting all the systems for success. And I just became this hyper learner. And my goal was to engineer success. How do I take this problem that I had of being overstressed, overworked, overwhelmed? How do I take that problem and hack it to get to my desired result faster? And I created this system. What I learned through this whole process, through consuming what all these successful people were doing, reading about successful people, I just got obsessed with success. And what I learned was this: successful people, quite simply, they woke up early every day with a routine to engineer their success. That's it. That's it. If you look at the common thread, there's a common thread between all high achievers. No matter what industry, no matter what they do, there is a common thread, and that thread is this. They wake up early with a structured process. I said, okay, how can I do that for me? How can I take that concept and make it work for me? And I created this process. It was really simple. It was just these 3 steps that I was doing, and it turned my life around. From being on my mom's couch, I quickly went and decided to get my real estate license. Got my license and went into commercial real estate. And I remember this very vividly. I went in and I was interviewing with brokers to join their teams. And the broker at the office that I was applying for said, you know, son, don't expect to come in here and see any results anytime soon. Like, it took me 18 months before I got my first listing. So I just want to set your expectations that, you know, you're going to grind for a while and see no results. Within my first year, I was pulling commercial properties all around San Diego. I became the expert in uptown and downtown office, retail, and restaurant spaces. Within my first year, I was Rookie of the Year and already selling multi-million-dollar properties more than other agents in the office. And not the beauty of this is not only was it's just business success, my personal life was flourishing. That girl that broke up with me, I went back in and I dove wholeheartedly back into our relationship and poured back into it at a level where we were married within 3 months. And now we just had our first son 8 months ago. We just hit our 3-year anniversary, and it's honestly the best decision that I've ever made. My health was flourishing. I lost 30 pounds. Within 3 months, I lost 30 pounds and got back down to my college weight. I had such a flow and a vigor in life that people were like noticing. They're like, what are you doing? Like, how are you on such this aggressive push for life? What are you doing? Can you show it to us? And so I got asked and invited to go around and speak on grand stages to show other people what I'm doing that had my life on such a hyperbolic trajectory. Today, I want to show you. I want to share with you exactly what I was doing that turned my life around. Do you guys want to hear about that? To turn me from a 0 to hero in 6 months. Would that be a good use of your time if you walked away from this knowing exactly the 3-step process that I did to give me an extra 2 to 4 hours of productivity every day so that I was done with work by noon, which gave me more time to do all the things I needed to do for myself, like going to the gym, spending time with my family? Would this be a good use of your time if you walked away with this? And say yes in the chat. I want to see a few yeses. I need to see at least 4 more yeses before we move on. All right. Now, not only that, because this is mostly a real estate audience, and since I come from a real estate background, I'm going to throw a bonus in. Today, I'm also going to share with you the exact formula that I use that had my phone ringing off the hook with prospects so that I no longer had to chase business. Business chased me. With that, give me a hell yes if you want that one. Give me a, who's a hell yeser out there? All right. Yes, we got a few hell yeses. Let's do this. If you guys can't tell, I'm really amped up. And yes, I do wake up like this every day. So that's my commitment to you. Your only commitment is this. The minute you hear something that clicks with you, go all in. Like, be a doer. There are 2 people in this world. There are doers and there are dabblers. The dabblers are the people that just consume information and they do nothing with it. Be a doer. Like, don't make this a waste of your time. The minute you hear something that you jive with, make the commitment that you will put it in motion. You will turn it into action. You will walk away from this doing something different with a new tip, a new trick, a new habit that you will try. Make that commitment. Make this a good use of your time. With that being said, I got a few hell yeses in there. A few, someone put asterisk yes. All right, a few asterisks out there. Let's dive in. And, again, we're going to go pretty fast. So, again, don't feel like you have to consume it all right now. If you put your email address in the chat, I will send you these slides so you will have it to reference. With that being going in, let me explain to you a little bit about the problem that I had, the problem that you all might be having, and let me know if you identify with this. But this is the cycle. I'll call this the cycle, and I'll start at the top. This was my daily flow, and it goes like this. From the moment my alarm goes off, I go right back to sleep. And matter of fact, not only was I knew I had the snooze science. I knew exactly how many snoozes I could squeeze into my morning before I had to rush out of bed and get into the shower. So I would probably snooze maybe 3 or 4 times before finally dragging myself out of bed late, immediately diving into my phone, immediately diving into emails, diving into social media, diving into text messages and notifications. And immediately, the moment I woke up, I was sucked in to the chaos. Rushed to work, and then my whole day is chaotic, bouncing around from small tasks to trivial thing to emails to just busy. Not really productive, but just busy all day long. Run past the little takeout spot and grab some food on my way home, just to probably try to do a little bit more work and then get sucked into some mindless activity just because my mind is mush at that point. So back to more TV, more social media, more phone before finally passing out. Does that sound like anyone? Can anyone here identify with that, with the cycle? The problem with this, what's the problem with this? There's no order to this. There's no order. Just unfocused, no real plan. Just wake up doing. Just wake up and go. No real thoughtful plan to how to approach the day to get the most out of it. Just wake up and go. Wake up and dive right into the chaos. Not really productive. I say people spend big energy on small things. And that's what this is. Spending a lot of energy on the small things. Stuck in place, just spinning, just exhausted, but not really going anywhere. No time for myself, the biggest one. Where in here is there time for anything else other than just the chaos? And this, unfortunately, is a lot of people's flow. This is a recipe for disaster. So as I went on my growth journey, when I went on this journey of trying to understand what are the successful people doing? What makes them great? How can they get so much out of their day, way more than other people? I found there are 2 undeniable truths. The first one, if you want to go faster, you first have to slow down. This is counterintuitive, and I'll show you what this means in a minute. You might not get this at first. But if you want to speed up, the first thing you do is slow down. The second undeniable truth, and this is the one that kind of birthed the name Morning Hero, is if you win the morning, you win the day. And that's actually the tagline for Morning Hero. How goes your morning determine how the rest of your day goes? Do you believe that? I'm sure you can already understand the power of your morning, but the morning sets the tone for everything. So these are the 2 undeniable truths that I started to kind of hack to come up with this process. So we'll go back to, this is what the problem was. The problem was that there was no time for anything built into here. No time to really get your thoughts around how to be successful, how you're going to get the most out of this day. The solution was to turn that into this process. Wake up a little earlier with a structured process, then go get some exercise and go take that momentum and crush the first part of my day to the point where I was done. And now I had time. Now I had time to invest in my family. Now I had time to invest in my side hustles and passion projects and interests and hobbies. Now I had time for my sanity. I was less stressed. I was less anxious. I was less worried. I was peaceful, and I was more productive in the process. I call this stress-free productivity. I'm going to show you exactly what this process is that I did that allowed me to get extra time back. I call it the get more done method. Get more done. And when you do this every morning, you will explode through your day. I just thought this was hilarious. You'll explode through your day, and all of a sudden dollar bills will just shower all over you. Does anyone want dollar bills to just shower all over their face as they walk away from an explosion? Every morning you spend some time doing this process and you will explode through your day. So I'll walk you through how it works. The first step is to wake up 1 hour early. Wake up 1 hour earlier than you do right now. What is the importance of waking up? Can anyone tell me? I want to see a few people chat in the box. What are some of the benefits? Why is this so important? What do you get out of getting up early? This is the start of everything. Time. Someone just said time. The reason you wake up earlier is because you get more time. The first thing is that you're up getting a head start before everyone else. You get the quiet. You get the peace. You get the serenity of not waking up into chaos. There's no distractions. There's no notifications. You're up before everyone. You're getting a head start. So the immediate thing is that you get a chance to wrap your own mind around what you want to get done today before your emails and notifications start ringing off the hook. Waking up earlier gives you that head start. Now you have time. Everything you say you don't have time for, I guarantee you get up earlier, now you have the time. So now you can build in the time to work out. Now you can be thoughtful and plan your day accordingly. I say that progress is made before 6 a.m. So my personal suggestion is to wake up by 5. And I know that sounds a little aggressive, but trust me, I wasn't a morning person before I started doing this. I was waking up at 8, I was in real estate. So I didn't have to be up at a certain time. I controlled my own calendar. So I could wake up at 8, 9, sometimes 10 in the morning, depending on how, what kind of night we had before. But the minute I committed and said, you know what, I want to start waking up early because I want to start owning my mornings. The minute I made the mental commitment, it was easy. From that, it was that same day I switched and made the transition to becoming a morning person. So trust me, it's not as hard as you think. Waking up early is not as hard as you think. It starts first with the decision. The reason you're not a morning person is because you tell yourself you're not a morning person. The moment you start speaking more affirmatively, your body will listen. Your body is very obedient. It listens to everything you tell it. If you tell it, oh, I'm going to be so tired when I wake up and I'm just not a morning person. I'm just not looking forward to getting up. If you tell yourself that, then your body will manifest that. The minute you flip that on its head and you say, you know what, I'm excited. I'm excited to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. You'd be surprised at how obedient your body is. You'll wake up fresh at the exact time you said you'd wake up. So it's not, I know it's people kind of balk when I say this, but trust me, it's not that hard to start waking up early. It starts first with you telling yourself that you're going to wake up fresh. Now, if you have families, I say you have to be up at least an hour before everyone else in the rest of your house is up. So now, I have an 8-month-old son, and he wakes up at 4:30 for his first feeding. So I wake up at 3:30. I wake up 1 hour before everyone else in my house wakes up because I need that peace and serenity first before I can deal with the chaos of everything else. So whoever in your house, wake up 1 hour before the rest of your house wakes up so you have time to do this process. So that's the first step. And we hear a little tapping. So if everyone can go ahead and mute their Zooms. All right. I hope that didn't scare you. Are you still with me? Is anyone going to give this a try? Waking up an hour earlier tomorrow? Give me a couple of yeses if you think this will help you. If you're going to actually give this a try. I promise you, this one habit was the cornerstone of my transition. Everything started when I first decided to wake up earlier. That gave me the spare time. That gave me the spare time I needed to build my business, to work on my relationship, to work on my health. I needed that time, and that came from me waking up earlier. Now, what do you do? Okay, now you're up. What do you do now that you're up? I'll go take you to step 2. I just talked about this. Step 2, write your goals. That's it. It's so simple. Write your goals down every day. Does anyone give me some yeses or nos? Is anyone writing their goals every day? Type yes or no in the comments. I want to see if anyone is actually doing this. I'm going to say no. One person. A couple of people. Okay, that's surprising. It's shocking to me how much of an oversight this is. I ask people, do you have goals? They're like, yeah, I have goals. I have dreams. I have this. Okay. How often do you write them down? Well, I wrote it down, let's see, like January, maybe 8 months ago. Okay. And you wonder why you're unfocused. You wonder why you're scattered. You wonder why things, you're kind of off course. Writing your goals is the easiest way to stay focused because it does this. It makes it top of mind. People stray, people get off course simply because you need to be reminded of what's important. You need to be reminded of what you're working on, right? Every morning you sit there and you remind yourself, you write down what are the things that you're focused on. And now all of a sudden it's top of mind. So now everything you're going to do that day is filtered through the lens of these are my goals. So, should I work on this or should I do that? Well, I just wrote 5 minutes ago, I just wrote down what's the most important. So I'm going to spend time doing the important thing, which is this. Writing your goals helps you prioritize what's the important activities you got to do that day. Because once you write your goal, all of a sudden your brain starts obsessing over how are you going to make that goal happen. Do that every day. So for one, it helps you stay focused because it keeps your goals top of mind. It also, this is what I call strokes of genius. You ever have those moments where you're just sitting there and all of a sudden something hits you like, aha, like it was this benevolent idea just hits you. I call those strokes of genius. You get those strokes of genius when you become obsessed over something. And when you write your goals every day, you become obsessed over them to the point where now you've planted them deep into your subconscious so that your subconscious chews on it all day long. Even when you're not consciously paying attention, you could be driving, right? Your subconscious is chewing on it. It's chewing on it. And all of a sudden, it hits you. You get a stroke of genius. How am I going to double my business? How am I going to double my business? Boom, there it is. A stroke of genius. Go talk to this person and talk about this idea. You only get strokes of genius when you become obsessed over your goals. You become obsessed by writing them every day. You'll be surprised at how many new ideas and revelations you'll have when all of a sudden you just remind yourself every day of what you're working on. Now, I don't want to scare you guys, but the law of, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is simply this. What you focus on is what you manifest. It's the things that you focus on all of a sudden come into being. So when you focus on your goals, it seems like it's just like this. When you buy a new car, then all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere, right? It's like Now that you've bought that car, you focused on that car, now all of a sudden it opens up your eyes and you're aware and you start seeing that car everywhere. And a similar thing with your goals. Like the minute you start focusing on your goals, now it opens up a new lens and you start seeing opportunities everywhere that will help bring that goal into being, right? I remember one time that I was looking for an intern to do my social media, and I wrote it down. I wrote it that morning. I will grow my social media content. And I went to the gym and worked out. And then all of a sudden someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Jarvis, you know anyone that needs help with their social media? I've got this intern that's looking for someone that he could go work for free because he's looking for experience." Now, this guy didn't even know what I was looking for in social media intern, but I had just wrote it down that morning. That is the law of attraction. I wrote it down, and all of a sudden the universe brought it into my being. Now, I know that kind of sounds scary, but this actually works. This stuff works. Write your goals every day and watch how new opportunities, new places, new people just start coming into your life, seemingly out of nowhere, all because you wrote it down that morning. Write your goals every day. And just as an added bonus, it helps if that goal is in action. So a lot of people write their goals as a result, like I will make $1 million, right? That's a result. It helps if your goal is actually in action. So what are you going to do to get the $1 million? So, well, I need to make 100 phone calls a day. So that's the goal. You write the goal as the action, the daily action that you need to do that's going to get the result. So that's just a little bit about how to format your goals. Okay, so you guys still with me? Throw a couple of yeses in there. Did that make sense? Did I scare you guys a little bit with the whole writing your goals every day and the law of attraction? Trust me, I'm telling you, it sounds a little eerie, but you'll be surprised at how all of a sudden, your phone will just start ringing on stuff. And you're like, dang, I didn't even. How did you guys even know? So the third step. This is where this is where we start getting to the grits. Now, I'm from Chicago. I don't know if they even have grits out here in the West Coast. Anyone know what grits are? I think it's a Southern term when you say get into the grits. The grits are like, I don't even know how to describe them. They're like, it's not oatmeal. It's like grains almost. But in the South, like the grits are like the big part of the breakfast. It's the good part of the breakfast. So when I say it's time to get to the grits, or we're about to get into the grits, that means we're getting to the good stuff. So here are the grits. Now that you've written your goals, you want to schedule it on your calendar. I call this the zero calendar method. And what zero calendar means is that you're going to schedule every minute of your day to the point where there's zero blank space. And I'm going to show you guys in a live demonstration exactly how to do this in a minute. But when you're in the morning, you basically say, okay, if this was an absolutely perfect day, how will my day go exactly to the minute? Plan out the entire day. And when you do that, plan out everything, not just your important meetings. And most people just stop here. They'll have their meetings on their calendar, an important phone call or a meeting with a client or what have you. But even your actions, so the things that you typically put on the to-do list, you put those and you schedule them as blocked out time on your calendar. Your personal time, you are just as important. You are your most important client. Treat yourself like that. So your personal time should be blocked out as dedicated space on your calendar. Your gym time, time you want to spend with family, you block it out and you treat it like an appointment. Your meal times, you have to eat. Schedule them. Be intentional about your meals. Put it on your calendar. And all the miscellaneous stuff, commute times, breaks. So it sounds overwhelming, but trust me, when you get that thoughtful about how your entire day is going to go, now it drastically improves your focus and you know exactly what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. And it also, by putting things on your calendar, it shows you exactly how much time there is in a day. We're really good at overloading our to-do list. We have 50 different things on our to-do list, and it's just not realistic that you're going to be able to do all 50 things. When you put things on your calendar, it forces you to prioritize the things that you go on there, because you don't have time to, your calendar shows you exactly how much time you have in the day, and there's a limited amount of time. So it forces you to prioritize and put only the important things on your calendar. And there was a study done by the University of Pennsylvania where they gave 2 control groups the exact same things to do. One group, they said, hey, here's a to-do list of everything you need to get done today. The other group, they said, okay, here's the same list, but I want you to schedule that list on your calendar. Put a time next to each thing each one of the tasks. What they found was the group that put a time next to the task were twice as likely to do it. Essentially, they were twice as productive by taking it off of a to-do list and putting it on their calendar. This one activity could double your productivity by not using a to-do list. Like I say, a to-do list is the death of all productivity. Use your calendar as your to-do list, if that makes sense. So with that being said, I'm going to go into a live demo, but before, no, you know what, let's just dive right in. We'll do the prizes right afterwards. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this every morning. I'm going to be showing you, this is a format that I created. It's called the Daily Action Planner, and it actually walks through each step of this process. Now, you don't need this. You can just use a blank sheet of paper. So when I first started doing this, I just doing a blank sheet of paper. I just created this format to make it easier to walk through the whole process pretty quickly. So every morning, this is what I do. I pull out a sheet of paper, and first step, write the goals. So the top 3 goals, and I always focus on 3 goals at a time. So I'll write my top 3 goals that I'm focused on. One's a professional goal, one's a personal goal, and then there's always a health and fitness goal. You have in order to be your best, you have to look and feel your best. So I'll write my top 3 goals. Now, once I write the goals, immediately my brain is going to start dumping all the things I have to get done to help push those goals forward. So essentially, I'm starting to come up with an action plan. So for my professional goal, what are the top things I need to get done today? For my personal goal, what's the top things? My health and fitness goal, what kind of exercise am I going to do? How am I going to eat healthy? What meals am I going to eat? So I start filling out, I just go through and fill this whole thing out, and I come up with the action plan. Now, essentially at this point, all this is just a glorified to-do list. And I told you before that a to-do list is where good intentions go to die. If we really, really want to be focused and productive, we have to transfer things from the to-do list and schedule each one of these things on my calendar. So now I go one by one, and I move everything from here over to my calendar. So I'll start off, most people start off, you always have your client appointments on there. So this is probably what your calendar looks like now. You'll start the day and your client appointments will already be on there. And a lot of people stop right here. Once my appointments are on there, I schedule any buffer time. So if I have to drive to get there, I'll schedule in all my commute times. And then the next thing I do is I put my personal time. So my gym time, any time I need to spend with family, I fill out all of my personal time, because my personal, true fulfillment comes from a whole round, you have to have an all-around approach, not just success in business, but success in every area of your life. So I prioritize, I make that a priority, and I block it out. When I have dinner with my wife, I block that out. I'm going to go to the gym. What time am I going to go to the gym or go for my run? I'm going to block that out. I'm going to treat that just like it's a client appointment, because it's just that important. From there, I schedule in all my meals, and I'm a little, OCD. Not only do I schedule the meal, I actually schedule what I'm going to have. That way, I don't even have to think about it. It's already planned out and thought through. And now I see how much time I have left for the other things. And now this is where the prioritization comes in. And so now I see how much time I have left. I go ahead and block out the rest of the day. So for me, the biggest thing, I always preach that your most important thing, your biggest money-making activity should be the first thing you do every day. The first thing you do. So we're all deal makers here. If you're in real estate or in business development, your business development activity should be the first thing you do. The first thing. So every day, this right here, what I'm showing you is an actual example of one of my days, one of my real actual days. And this is how my flow goes. So wake up at 5 a.m., spend, the first 30 minutes doing my morning routine. Right after my morning routine, I go for a run or go to the gym and do my exercise. I think you have to build in your exercise in the morning because your evenings and afternoons are too unpredictable. So you won't be consistent doing your exercise in the evening. If you want it to be consistent, you have to do it in the morning where your motivation is the highest and you have the most control over your calendar. So I go right into my exercise and I take that momentum right into my heaviest activity, which is prospecting. Prospecting should be the first thing you do. Now here's the pro tip. You don't want to know how I was so successful in real estate? It's because of this is one little move right here. I didn't check my email until after I made all my prospecting phone calls. This one tweak to my day made my business explode. I made all my calls first before even checking my inbox. The moment you check your inbox, the rest of your day is gone. Now you're immediately sucked into everybody else's intentions, everybody else's action items, all the distractions, all the little things. If you're spending most of your time doing little things and not the big things, it's probably because of this. You become a slave to your inbox. I had a little reminder, a little autoresponder that said, "Thank you for your message. I respond to emails between between 10 a.m. and noon. If you're sending this email, I promise I will get back to you as soon as I can between 10 a.m. and noon." I had an autoresponder set so people knew that I would get back to them at 10 a.m. That gave me my morning to focus on the most important thing, which was growing my business. So it allowed me to guilt-free ignore my inbox while all I did was make cold calls. That one thing, within 3 months, my phone was ringing off the hook and I no longer had the cold call. All I had to do was answer the phone because people were calling me back because I prioritized every single day making my cold calls first thing in the morning before checking email. If you could adopt that one little tweak to your day, I guarantee everything will become easy for you. Everything will become easy for you. The minute you start ignoring your email and focus on the most important thing, which is growing your business. You are not a slave to email. You are a business developer. Start acting accordingly. So this is it. This was exactly what I did. Every day I woke up early. Every day I wrote my goals. And every day I planned every single minute of how my day was going to go. And then I dove right in to doing the most important thing first. Simple. It's 1, 2, 3. With that being said, and so again, what I'm showing you right here is a piece of the daily action planner that I created. The people that's on my Success Bootcamp all kind of get one of these, and it's a kind of the simple process that walks you through how to do this whole thing within 15 minutes. So I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Jarvis, you're crazy. This doesn't work, or this won't work. I don't have enough time. My mornings and my days are too hectic. I don't think this will work for me. Let me share a quick story with you. I want to share with you a story of Nikki. So Nikki she was an administrator at a university, stuck in a dead-end job, really unhappy. She had been there for 8 years and wasn't making any progress. So she was kind of stuck in place. She had 3 kids. So her home, and this was all during quarantine. So not only is she a full-time job, she's also homeschooling her kids at the same time. So you can imagine how crazy and chaotic her days are. And so Nikki joined my Success Bootcamp. And the first thing I told her was, Nikki, you got to get up 1 hour early before everyone in your house so you can work on how you're going to get out of this position, how you're going to get to, how you're going to grow your career. And I gave her the exact formula. Nikki went, and so this is a letter she sent me a few months ago. It says, Jarvis, this year I knew I had to make a big change professionally and find a new job that was going to really advance my career. In a conversation with you, we determined that the most important thing to do was to reach out to 3 contacts a week for informational interviews. I started on January 1st and reconnected with at least 3 people per week, sometimes more. It was great to see people I hadn't gotten in touch with and expand my network through their introductions. On March 18th, I received an offer for a phenomenal job opportunity, a job that was never even posted and that I networked my way into. I have no doubt that the focus and intensity of the Morning Hero routine played a huge role in helping me achieve my biggest goal for 2020 in less than 3 months. It's also helped me with smaller goals. For the past several years, I've set a goal to read more books. Now, as a part of my morning routine, I read 10 pages a day, and I've already finished 3 books this year, more than I finished in all last year. Nikki had a full-time job with 3 kids, homeschooling, and she was stuck in place. She committed to this process to wake up early and do a structured routine that would drastically improve her life. If Nikki can find the time to do this, you can do this too. Nikki went from just being an admin at a university. After we spent 3 months doing this process, she got an offer and became the CIO of Northwestern University, Kellogg School of Business. Nikki went from being stuck in place for 8 years to doing this 3-step process every day to now she has a C-level position in one of the most respected business schools in the nation, all because of waking up early with a structured process. You can do this. You can do this. Just takes a little commitment on your part. Now, I help people with this, and if you need some help with this, you can send an email to Jarvis at the Morning Hero. And I can show you exactly how this can translate into your success. Now, I've done a lot of talking, and I want to give you some time to ask some questions. I'm sure there should be a ton of questions. And so, Sergio, before we do that, I'm going to hand it over to Sergio. We're going to hand out some prizes. So we're going to do some trivia. I'm going to give away a couple of these daily action planners that I showed you guys for anyone that gets the correct answer. Sergio, how do you want to do this?
All right. Well, in the spirit of, if you ever been to any of my little live events, you've seen this famous wheel, this crazy wheel. So we're doing this here. I talked to Jarvis and I talked him into it. So I thought the easiest way of doing it would be if you ask a question of, a secret or something part of your talk, and then I will monitor the chat, and then I'll pick the one that responds the first. Let's see who's the quickest to write in. So give me a second. And that's my suggestion.
Okay, let's see. So am I on? Can you still hear me?
You're good. You're good. You go ahead and ask your trivia question related to what we've talked about today.
What was the, what time did I suggest waking up? What was my recommended time? All right, I see a couple of, I see a lot of right answers.
Got it. That's what's beautiful about the system. It records it real quick, so it's there for all of us to see.
Looks like Randall
We got
Buffum.
Randall. Yep, Randall was the fastest there.
All right, Randall, congratulations. If you put your email in there, and I'll get with you to get your address, and we'll set up a call where I'll walk you through personally and give you a personal training on the whole flow, the whole process. You will be a rock star, guaranteed.
Yes, you will.
Randall, congratulations. Let's see. I got a couple more. You want to let's do another one.
All right.
What was the biggest secret to me growing my business? What was the biggest?
Question.
Okay, I see a couple. Oh, I think we got one from Janice. Not checking email. That's it. So it goes deeper than not checking email. So I'm gonna give you that, Janice, but it's also Melinda, lead gen before email.
Yeah.
Lead gen. So I'm gonna give it to both Janice and Melinda.
Wow. Jarvis, you're
I'm gonna give.
you're generous today, brother.
Yeah, Janice, even though it was a little unclear, I still want to give Janice credit, but Melinda worded it perfectly. Lead gen before email. That one thing allowed me to be consistent, to consistently make my calls every day, because you got to remember, you don't want to make calls. Your brain will find everything else to do other than that. So as soon as you open your inbox, immediately your brain is like, yes, give me all this little stuff because I don't want to do the hard thing. So let me do all this little stuff. So you got to avoid it. Avoid the little stuff as much as possible. So all you focus on first is your lead gen, and then do the little stuff. But lead gen first every day. I love it.
Awesome.
So Janice and Melinda, congratulations. Again, if your emails are in the chat, I will follow up with you to get your addresses so I can mail you your daily action planner. With that, I know we're right at time, but I want to give people some time. So if you have to go, I understand. If you want me to send you these slides, make sure your email is in the chat so I can send you the slides. For those of you that want to stick around a little longer, I'm willing to stay as long as you want to do some Q&A. So at this point, Sylvia or Sergio, if you guys want to open up the chat lines. And also, if you're on the call and you want to make your video live so we can actually see you and talk like a conversation, go ahead and make your video live. Turn on your video, and then that way it makes it a little easier when we're talking. So I'm going to unshare my screen.
All right, guys, this is a pretty cool time to take advantage of. Like I said, this man literally changed my life just with that one. There's one thing I got to jump in here, Jarvis. One thing that was huge, I would make appointments with everyone else, but when it came to me, I'd put in, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to go out date night, or I'm going to do this. But then I would get that call, and then I would substitute something that I had for myself. And so learning to keep appointments with yourself is huge. It's absolutely huge, because then you start training yourself and you begin to lie to yourself. You're not going to go to the gym because you're waiting for someone to call you. And it's a snowball. And so I'm telling you, between the calling before noon, making all your prospecting before noon, and keeping your own appointments with yourself, those two things were huge for me. So I got to tell you publicly thank you, bro, because that literally changed my life. So
Absolutely.
I hope that we can stimulate some stuff here, get some good questions and really get some feedback. So please jump in, take advantage of this.
And a quick
Anyone
plug
that needs
for
to leave, go ahead.
A quick plug for Sergio. If you all haven't worked with Sergio or have any type of professional relationship with Sergio, Sergio went through my Success Bootcamp, and it's crazy to see the level of discipline that you had coming through this, with like kind of where you started, and then you got to the point where you just had this unstoppable discipline of, the way you managed your business and family. And so if anyone is looking for someone that says rock solid discipline and just takes care of their clients, takes care of their business with such professionalism and with consistency, Sergio, I want to give it up to you. You really were one of the shining stars in the boot camp, man. So Congratulations on just taking a hold of the system, and it really showed. So with that being said,
we have a hand raised for Ben. Hey Jarvis, Ben's raised his hand. He's unmuted now. Do you want to go ahead, or her? Sorry.
Hey,
but
I wanted to ask, how do you account for any bumps in the road, or if you need to adjust any scheduling? How do you go about doing that?
great question. So your calendar will, first of all, it never goes exactly according to plan. I plan out my day and it looks pretty and it's perfect, but rarely does it go exactly to the minute the way I planned it. Things come up, things need to get shuffled around. So just know that it doesn't have to go exactly the way you planned it, but the fact that you planned it, it solidifies it in your conscious that you need to do those things, and at some point in the day you still do it. So by putting it on your calendar, all it does is solidify your commitment that you're going to do that thing, whether you do it at 9 a.m. like you plan to do it at 9 a.m. or you do it at 5 p.m. At some point in the day you will do it, because it's going to eat at you. It's going to eat at your conscious until you close it out, because it's on your calendar. So your calendar is really just your way of committing to doing that thing. If I put it on my calendar, I commit to it. And at some point in that day, I'm going to do it because it's on my calendar. So your calendar is not a prison sentence. You don't have to do everything exactly the way you planned it. Did that help? I can't see Ben's anymore, but
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. Let's see. I'm sorry, go
We
ahead.
have another raised hand.
Okay, go ahead.
Lally?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I had a question about calling people before 10 a.m. and their receptiveness to that, especially in residential. I actually came from the commercial side too. I had no problem calling early in the morning on businesses and the personal.
Yeah. So this is going to, I don't know how to say it, not rub you the wrong way, or this is going to be counterintuitive to everything you believe in.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I call, this is my own personal approach. When I call, I actually didn't want to talk to people. So I started calling at 7 a.m. on some days. Now here's why. Because I wanted volume. My calls, I wanted to bang out as many as possible. And the thing what I did is I called with a hook, and I wanted to leave a voicemail that piqued so much curiosity that they called me back. So my whole goal in calling wasn't to have conversations. I wanted to have warm conversations on people who call me back, rather than have cold conversations with people that I had to try to convince them to talk to me. So, and this is a whole different conversation. Like I have a whole program where I coach on specifically business development, but this is one of the cornerstones. It's about volume. It's not about having quality conversations. This is counterintuitive to everything you probably believe in. It's not about having quality conversations. It's about talking to the right people, having the right conversations. And the right conversations are people that are calling you. I'm not trying to convince someone who doesn't want to talk to me. I'm not going to waste 20 minutes on the phone with you, someone who doesn't even want to talk to me. Right. I'd rather call and leave so many voicemails that 4 of the right people call me back. And then when they call me back, I got them. So I purposefully called during times that I knew it was going to be less likely for people to answer, because I wanted to leave 100 voicemails and have 5 really hot people call me back.
Makes sense.
I have one. I have a question here. I'm going to jump in, Sylvia, for a second. Jarvis.
Yes.
So this is Melinda asking, I've made 0 calendars and time blocked my head off, only to have my coach toss my calendar in the trash. I make it and I don't follow it. Any suggestions?
I don't know. What do you mean by your coach? Is Melinda, can we put Melinda
on? I'm here. He actually likes to tell this coaching story that we're sitting in his office and he takes the beautiful planner that's all filled out that also has all my notes at the time in it. He takes it and he turns around and he drops it in the trash. And he says, I don't know why you have it. You don't follow it anyway. And that's a couple years ago. This is embarrassing. It's very exposing. But so I will make the calendar, and then I will never not show. Sergio knows this. I'll show up for you, and I don't show up for myself because I'll put that appointment to do my lead gen, or I know those things, and then I don't show up for myself. And I know, Serge, you talked about changing the discipline. Do you have suggestions for that when you put other people before yourself, I think is what it is.
Why? And let me ask you this: what gets in the way? What gets in the way? Why? What would normally happen that'll throw you off and not do what you had scheduled to do?
Some of it I know because I have a later comment. Some of it will be it's the equivalent of email, which would be a text, a DM, a this or that. Yeah. Some of it would be this, just this head. I don't like making those calls. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I love selling homes. I'm really good at selling homes. I love talking to my warm audience. I teach the class later in this series on agent-to-agent referrals. I love talking to them because they want to talk to me. Right. Yet the day in, day out volume, I'm 100% with you that it's a volume game, is very difficult for me.
Yeah. So where I see people easily get thrown off, because we like to chase shiny objects, your brain will always want to default to the easiest thing. So if you present it with the option of something easy to do, like email, like social media, naturally it was like, okay, make my cold calls or do this wonderfully, beautifully succulent thing over here. I'm going to do this, right? Always. And so you have to protect yourself from yourself. And I'll say that again, because this is where the discipline comes in. You have to protect yourself from yourself. If you know that's your weakness, you have to avoid it. So that's why I don't check email until I've done the hard thing first, because I know the minute I tempt myself with email, I'm going to dive right in because my brain wants to do that. It doesn't want to do this. So I don't even, literally, the way I would do it is I would walk into my office. So I had my prospecting book printed out. It was just like this. It was laminated. I had all my leads in there and my call list printed in a physical form. And I would walk into the office. I would go straight to a call room and I would pull out this physical book, turn to where I was and start going down the list, making calls. With a phone, I would have a phone and a physical call book and make all my calls. When I got to the number of calls that I need to make for the day, I would close the book, then go and open my laptop for the very first time. I protected myself from myself because I knew that if I opened my laptop first, I would dive right into email. So I had a rule that I couldn't open my laptop until I made my calls for the day. And with that urgency, it's like I know stuff is in my inbox waiting for me that I have to get to. It created a sense of urgency that I had to hurry up and get through all my calls so that I can get to my inbox. So that was a way that I protected myself. I had to avoid the shiny object to do the hard thing first. And so if you're getting thrown off, you're presenting yourself with too many options. You have to eliminate the options so that you only have the hard thing that you can do. And it forces you to do the hard thing. Does that make sense?
I'm going to jump in there. Some of us have been in this business anywhere from 1 to 20 or 25 years. You can go to all the coaching. There's big names out there, huge. But the missing link, I believe, because they can't service you on a almost daily basis, because a lot of us salespeople need daily handholding because we get distracted.
Yeah,
is this right here. It's and this is the beauty of what we're talking about here. It's making a mind shift. It's literally experimenting with yourself, Melinda, and anyone that's listening here. It's experimenting with yourself and trying it one way. I saw a question that said, is paper better than electronic? Well, it depends. I don't know. It might be better for one. It might be better for the other to do it the other way. All I'm encouraging you from today is take some of these concepts or ideas and experiment with them, and then kind of bounce it, kind of off of each other. That was the whole idea behind pulling this together and bringing these four instructors so that we can create a somewhat of a informal, what was a mind, what do you call it? A mind group when you get together as a group?
Mastermind.
Thank you, mastermind. Under the current environment, what COVID did, it leveled the playing field. So in many ways, and what Jarvis is talking about is huge, and that's all I want to encourage you. Experiment with yourself. Try it one way, try it another way. If you can't wake up an hour earlier, then wake up 15 minutes earlier and begin to tweak things little by little. I don't want to get off on tell Jarvis to talk again, but I'm telling you, experiment with it. You'll see, you'll start making breakthroughs and become accountable with someone. Have someone help you, because it's hard to do it by yourself. It really is.
Yeah. And Melinda, let me ask you, are you writing your goals every day?
No, you know what, well, yes and no. So at first I answered yes, and then when you made it the broader based goal, no. So I actually did some jotting while I was in here. And then, because I was taught to take those goals and then chunk it down to what the day has to look like. So I have been doing what the day needs to look like, yet I don't think I've been keeping the bigger goals in mind.
Right.
So you've definitely given some work to do, because it's like, well, you know, why am I going to do yoga and go run the stairs? And like, why is that important to me? Because it's not always fun. Yeah.
So, and this is one of the things that I think also helps with the focus is when I boiled the goal down into the action. So for me, my goal was, let's just say my goal was to make 6 figures. But then I said, I'm going to hit 6 figures by making 50 calls a day. So that was the actual statement I would write. So I wouldn't just write the result of I want to make 6 figures. It was the action that it's going to take too. So I'm going to make 6 figures by making 50 calls a day. And when I write that, then it really solidifies the importance of that action. And so that now it creates a more of a sense of urgency to do that thing, or to prioritize that activity over the other activities. So when you write it every morning, it does help with the distraction thing. Like, because you just, like I said before, it makes it top of mind of what the most important thing is you have to get done. So it's going to eat at you until you do that thing, right? And this is kind of stuff, I didn't share this earlier, but I probably should have. This is the kind of stuff that I go over in the Success Bootcamp that I was sharing with you. This is what surgery I went through, Nikki, testimonial I gave. But I talk about all these things in an 8-week program where we do live virtual trainings once a week. And then you get all the tools and materials that I've been sharing with you. And you kind of learn all the systems, the mindset, the habits, everything to hack your life so that you can not only rock it out in your business, but your health and fitness and in your relationship. So that's it. And I should have presented an opportunity. If anyone's looking for some way to go deeper with all this stuff, there is a way we can go deeper. So you can just send me an email if that's something that that you guys are looking for, that you want to take advantage of. Any other questions?
Jarvis, there is a common theme on how do we get the daily planner? People are asking about the daily planner. You want to comment on that?
Well, funny, I just, so that is a part of the Success Bootcamp. So I guess that's perfect timing to go back to that screen. So that's what this is. So the planners, they go to each person that's in the 8-week program. And that's where every week we cover a different topic. So from how to wake up earlier, how to build discipline of consistency, how to do time management, how to increase your productivity, all the way down to how to connect and build mentorships and build a tribe and build your own peer groups that you can leverage to level yourself up. And so each week throughout the whole part, we cover a different topic, and it's all around how do you get the most out of your time. Not just how do you get through the day, but how do you maximize your day so that you take care of everything and you get your day back. And so it's all kind of in this carefully crafted program. So that for the people that are on this program, that's when you get the journal. I don't sell these separately. It's a part of the program.
Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. I have a question. What is the cost of the boot camp? This just popped up on my chat here.
So I don't know if, Sergio, if you guys want me to talk about pricing and stuff on this.
Great. I promised, this is important. I promised the education committee, I promised our CEO that this was not a pitch session. And if we're already past our time, folks. This was born from the bottom of my heart. I want you to know. I approached every speaker here and I told them the pain that I was seeing, the anguish that when I was meeting with the public, with realtors, people applying for PPP, EIDL, helping them with their, trying to get forbearance on their houses. And these are across the spectrum. This was born from there. So I feel somewhat justified that we're past the time. And so this wasn't a pitch session for any books or any stuff. But at this point, it's 1:49, Jarvis. We can jump into that. Someone asked, so you go ahead and let them know.
Okay, so the program is $1,000, and what comes out of that is you become a transformed person. You're by the end of the session, by the end of the 8 weeks, guaranteed you'll be waking up earlier. You'll have at least 2 to 4 hours more of productivity. I go through a whole nutrition and fitness and how to optimize your energy. I go through the exact process I used to lose the 30 pounds. I lost 30 pounds in 3 months with no exercise. All of that plays a role in your looking your best, feeling your best, and having enough energy to tackle all your goals. So I go through a lot in that program. It's $1,000. For anyone that's on this call, I'm going to do it for half. So I'll do it for $495. That's for people that if you send me an email and say that you were...
Brother, I overpaid, brother. That's awesome.
So if you send me an email and say that you were on this call, I'll honor that. So I'll do it for
man.
People, because
Because
I have a special place for real estate, and I know the exact pain points of the real estate industry because I still have my license. So I want to be able to, I can speak directly to the struggles that people in real estate have. So I'll honor that.
That's great, man. Thank you for giving to our community here at the SRCAR group here. I really appreciate it, man. I thank you. Let me see what else is coming in. Folks, if you need to leave, please leave. It's already obviously 1:50.
I'll stay. If anyone else wants to have a question or two, I'm okay.
Let me see if there's any other common questions. No, that's it. Boot camp. Okay, we're getting questions regarding boot camp signing up. Do they go to the Morning Hero? Is that a good place? Or
I'll send them the application form. Send the email to Jarvis at the Morning Hero. That's Jarvis at the Morning Hero.
All right, let me put that in for you. Jarvis
and make sure that
Morning Hero is the place to. I'm going to put it in right now.
Okay.
Is to make inquiry on. All right.
And then I'll schedule a phone call with them and kind of walk them through the whole process and let them
Jarvis at themorninghero.com, right?
That's it.
Okay, cool. Let me hit that. Boom. Nice, brother. Thank you. This is the key, Jarvis. This is the key to every other coaching system out there, and there's a lot of them. This is the key that turns on that engine because you get so much information from those seminars that you get analysis of paralysis. You can't move because how am I going to squeeze this into my busy life? What you have is literally the key because it's changing our minds. And that's what I love about your message. And that's what I fell in love about your message. And that's why I'm a big supporter of what you do, brother. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Awesome.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
Anybody got a hard question? Who's got a hard question?
I know. I'm going to ask the question that I asked myself and I asked you when I first met you. Jarvis, I can barely wake up by 7 a.m. How am I going to wake up and be on a call with you by 6 or by 5? How is that? Tell us how you do it. What's the secret there? How do you wake up a little earlier?
So I'll give you this little secret, this little trick that when I first started trying to wake up early, and it's going to sound fluffy, but stick with me. This works.
Do it.
So I read a book called The Miracle Morning. Right? If you haven't read The Miracle Morning, I would suggest, first of all, reading that book because it talks about the importance of the morning, and then it gives you some real practical tips and tricks and ways to start the day and how to start waking up early. So in that book is shared this technique of using nighttime affirmations. And all an affirmation is just when you tell yourself something, like, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am wealthy, right? That's an affirmation. And you use an affirmation, and all it really does is it's planting a message into your subconscious. And your subconscious is what controls all your behaviors, your patterns, your habits. It's all controlled by your subconscious, not your conscious mind. It's the subconscious that controls all of it. And so you use an affirmation to plant a seed in your subconscious to get yourself to do something. This is how, people stop drinking and people stop smoking, because they say to themselves, I'm not a drinker, I'm not a smoker. And they're planting that message into their subconscious until their body starts to believe it. You can do the same thing to become a morning person. And you do it like this. At night, you plant the seed of expectation before you go to bed. You say to yourself, I can't wait to get up at 5 a.m. so that I can start my meditation. Say what you're going to do as soon as you get up. That's where the expectation comes from. Make yourself excited for something. And so have something planned that you're going to do first thing in the morning. So for me, it's my meditation. I say, I can't wait to get up at 4 a.m. to start my meditation. Even if in my heart I don't believe that, I say it. I lie to myself, essentially. And you'll notice it sounds silly, but when I do this, if I say I can't wait to wake up at 4 a.m. to start my meditation, I wake up at 3:58 on the dot every time. Even if I go to bed at midnight and I only get 3 hours of sleep, I can still wake up and bright and vibrant, all because I do this I hacked my brain to believe that I was excited to get up at that time, and my internal alarm clock wakes me up at that time like magic. I want you to try this. This is scary how well this works. Tonight, tell yourself, I can't wait to get up at 5 a.m. so I can try this new thing that Jarvis told me. That guy. Can't wait. And then see what time you wake up. And I guarantee you'll wake up a few minutes before that time. Yes. So that's how I got started waking up early. It was this mental trick that I started doing.
You're reprogramming your conscious mind.
That's it. That's exactly
what you're doing. And that's what changes you. That's what changes you, is that reprogramming. And we need it. We need it. We need to be reprogrammed.
Yeah. Someone asked, what time do I go to bed? I personally only need 6 hours of sleep. So it depends on how much sleep you actually need. So first understand your body and how much sleep you need. I only need 6 hours of sleep. So I go to bed at 9. I don't go to sleep right away. So if I'm in bed by 9, that means I'm asleep by 10 probably. So I can wake up at 4, bright and vibrant. That gives me the 6 hours that I need. So I would say start off with how much sleep do you need, and then kind of backtrack from there to determine what time you should go to bed. And know that it's going to take you about an hour to fall asleep. So go to bed 1 hour before the time you need to be asleep.
You and I are opposite, Jarvis. I need 8 to 9 hours of sleep. It's crazy, huh? I have people tell me, how can you sleep that long? Yeah. Well, guess what? My body, I run and I charge hard during the day. And as I get older, I'm 51 now, I still have the same intensity, the same drive. I have every energy that I had as much as I did 25 or even 30 years ago. And it's because you've got to be a scientist for yourself. Find out, you may be lethargic because you're just not sleeping enough. Isn't that true, Jarvis? That could be part of it.
Yeah,
It may not
100%.
be that you're not motivated. You're just not getting enough sleep. So
And that's absolutely
experiment.
right. And somebody just asked, can you shortcut sleep? Meaning, can you shorten the amount of sleep? I don't suggest that. Waking up early is not a byproduct of you cutting sleep. Waking up early is a byproduct of you going to bed early. You don't
Bam!
shortcut to sleep. You
Yes.
don't shortcut your sleep. Like you said, Sergio, you need your energy. You need sleep for you to really fully be sharp. So go to bed earlier. Don't cut your sleep short.
That's right.
And that's going to be the hardest part. And that's one of the things we talk about in the Success Bootcamp. I have a whole series on your nighttime sequence and your nighttime routine that helps to make it easier to go to bed earlier so that you can wake up earlier.
Nice, nice. Let's see what else we got here. Can you decrease the amount of sleep? I think I'm best on 9 hours, but squeak by on 7. I think we covered that. That's good. Everything else is okay. We've answered.
Someone asked about a nap.
Yes, there was a comment about taking a nap. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. I'm a full believer in naps. So when you start waking up this early, you'll find that your energy level is not 100% all day long. Like you start off like a skyrocket and then it slowly tapers down as the day goes. So a nap is a great way to reboot your day. So I do an afternoon nap most days to reboot, and that way gives me a second wind for the rest of the day. So I'm a firm believer in naps.
You know, your body, you can't, at some point you have to make adjustments. If you're going to bed at 12, anytime between 10 and 12, and you're trying to, wake up earlier, you're going to have to make adjustments, and your body will slowly start to shift. So yeah, that's a big deal. That was a big deal. I was getting sleepy by 12:30, just nodding off. I just turn off my phone for 30 minutes and take a nap.
Yeah.
And alarm. Don't forget the alarm to wake up.
Yeah.
Sweet. Everything else is good. I think we've answered a lot of the questions. Yeah, looks good.
All right. Really good. Well, with that being said, then if there are no other questions, I hope you guys got it. Did you guys give me a thumbs up? Did you guys get anything out of this? Was this helpful at all? I hope this was a good use of your time. Someone said they're going to take a nap right now. Sandy, I'm with you. I'm about to do the same thing. I'll see you in dreamland. Yeah. I will reach out to each one of you that put their emails in the chat. I'll send you guys the slides so you'll have it as your reference. And if anyone is interested in the Success Bootcamp, you can just respond to that email, and I'll give you some more details on how it works and how you can get started.
Absolutely. Jarvis, I'm going to put myself right now. I'm going to put my email, not because I have anything to sell, but just if people have questions, they can. I'm a student. I know. I know what you're talking about works. Listen, I wrote down, how do you thank someone? Think about it. And how do you thank someone that's changed your life properly? The only way, Jarvis, and I told you a few months back, it says, I'm going to help you spread your word. You helped change my life, brother. You came in at the right time, at a very low period, a very dark moment. And I so appreciate you and your young family. You'll get to know me further. But that's how you thank someone who's changed your life. You support him 100%. And that's why, I'm doing this. I don't get a nickel. All of this is for him and his family. But I love your message, and I love what you're doing because you help change people's lives. And Nikki was a perfect example.
Man, I can't thank you enough for the kind words. I hope you guys can see I'm passionate about this. This is my God-given passion, purpose, and design. I was designed to do this, to help people connect the dots and make their path a little easier. And to hear that it works, I mean, that's so fulfilling. So thank you, Sergio. And if anyone hasn't worked with Sergio, you can see he pours from his heart. So
awesome. Thank you, brother.
Thank you for your spirit, Sergio.
You're welcome. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to sign off now. We might do a little housekeeping here just to finalize things, Jarvis, but you're welcome to sign off. Thank you. We'll see you on the next class. It's Melinda DePerna. For those of you that are still with us, this is a lady here who didn't get in the residential sales early. She came into the business a little later in life, but within a small period of time, she's crafted a very successful business, and she runs about 25 to 75% of her gross income comes from agent to agent referral. That's an untapped market, and I wanted to bring her on because it's so appropriate in times like this. So please join us. She's coming up. Actually, it's not her, but it's Dave Mercadale is next. Then Melinda. So we've got a money coach coming on next Monday. If you would like to join us, please do. I would encourage you to do. There's going to be some great tips there as well with David. Sorry, Melinda, I was putting you first. It's actually David on the 15th, and then Melinda on the 18th. So, and then I'll finish up with professional, how to develop professional relationships with business people outside. All right, you guys have a great day, and wake up early tomorrow. Just even it's only 15 minutes. Begin to rewire your mind. Thanks again. Sylvia, you still with us?
I'm here. I came back.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. I think we're done. I know you were recording, right? I think on your side, and so we want to make sure that we're all good with that.
Yeah. So in the recording, I will send you also the chat so that you can pull the emails.
Okay, sounds good.
And then once the recording is rendered, do you want me to send it out to all the people that registered? Because we did have a lot of people that registered that probably are waiting for the recording.
But Jarvis, your call.
Yes, by all means, please. You can send it out as a recording.
Okay, will do. And I'll include you, Sergio, and Jarvis in the email. I'll BCC everybody else.
Sure.
But I'll include you in case people do want to reach out to you. They have that contact information.
Sylvia, I have one last question. What time are you waking up tomorrow?
An hour before I do. So I normally wake up at 7:15, so 6:15 a.m.
Yes.
Wow, so you're very ambitious. You're going for the full hour. All right.
I have to work my way to the my commute is 15 minutes, so I don't,
And
so
Sylvia,
6:15, I think that's good.
I'm going to ask you, okay? Hey, Jarvis, there's one thing. There's so many secrets, but the accountability. Next time we do this, that is the secret little potion, is the accountability. When you drop it in, it makes everything else work. Because without accountability, we just kind of float around in the air. And so, Sylvia, I'm going to check in with you, okay? I'm going to check in with you. All right?
Sounds good. You know where to find me.
I know where to find you.
Let's see, Sandy, what time are you waking up?
Well, if it's only an hour before, no, I'm just kidding. I don't need much sleep, but I late last night. I think it was like 3 in the morning, and the time before was like till 4 in the morning. So, and I do wake up before about 8, even with that.
Wow, 3 in the morning. Is that so? That's every night? Every night you wake?
Well, I have 5 escrows I'm closing on within 2 weeks of each other. So I've been to get all my paperwork in hand, and that's my problem. But my problem is when the kids, the grandkids come over. Like yesterday, my daughter-in-law and son live only 5 minutes away, so she's had to take the 1-year-old to get her shots. And so she says, can I leave the 3-year-old with me? I said, sure. So she brings him over. So then my whole day goes, down the drain, because next 2 hours I'm playing with him. I'm trying to work at the same time, and I get so behind on everything. And then I'm up till 2 in the morning getting stuff done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that can be, when there's families and there's outside variables at play, it's a little tough to control your schedule at that point.
And then you feel guilty because it's like, okay, I'm trying to work on the computer. He's playing by himself next to me. Then
Yeah.
I'm playing with him. Then my husband walks in, he sees him by himself. You know, I feel like I'm not doing my job, and it's like there, you know, then the guilt adds on.
Totally. Yeah, no, I understand that totally. I'm in the same boat right now, working at home, and my son is, you know, in his playpen, and it's tough to focus and do work because they kind of blend together now with these.
Yeah, and then I have
stay-at-home.
one kid who's sick now. You know, she's 20, but she's still sick. So I'm just trying to cook and make. You know, your baby's always your baby. And then I have a 23-year-old who actually is very sick. He has an autoimmune disease. He's home. I have to take him to the oncology center and all that stuff all the time. So you know, it's juggling all of that. It's.
So here's one thing I would suggest, like, given the chaos and given your environment, it's even more important for you to have your structure, your routine. I would switch the staying up late to the waking up early, meaning the paperwork and the stuff that you got to get done. Instead of staying up late to do it, prioritize waking up early and do it in the morning, because here's what happens. Then it builds momentum for your day, right? Just by making that subtle shift from moving it from the nighttime to the morning, now you're using it to build momentum for the day. So, and it gets you on a more regular rhythm with getting up earlier. So I understand completely with, you know, your days are, you know, unpredictable with family and everything that's going on. But the one thing that is predictable is your morning. Like, that should be your sanctuary. That is your, like, when I wake up and it's dark outside and nobody's around, nobody's awake, like, it is just my time. There's no greater feeling in the world than knowing that I'm uninterrupted, I'm unbothered, and I have a solid hour and a half to just do what I want, to focus
I
on
use
myself.
that time at night, so I think I will try to switch it around and do that morning time, so I'm not as exhausted either. But tomorrow I'll wake up earlier.
Yeah, it'll help, because then you're not waking up into the chaos. When you're waking up at 8, 9 o'clock, you're waking up and the world is already churning, and you're waking up into the world that's already on fire. So you're waking up right into the fire. By switching it so that you're waking up before the fire starts, you get a head start, and now you're in a more clear headspace to deal with the day, as opposed to waking up while the day is already coming at you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm playing catch up the rest of the day.
You're playing catch up the rest of the day, exactly. So just making that subtle shift from whatever you were going to do at night, prioritize just waking up early and doing it in the morning. That way you have a more intentional approach to your day, as opposed to just waking up and playing catch up.
Yeah, my husband wakes up early. He's the morning one, and he does get a lot done. And he takes his nap. I'm listening to all this. I'm going, this is exactly what he does. And
Yeah, so you and him can get on the same schedule now.
I think I do have to.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was great.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks, Sergio.
Okay,
That's good.
we're good. Thank you. I think anyone else that's still connected that wants to say anything before we disconnect, please, this is the time. If not, thank you for joining us, but you've got 5-10 seconds here. 10, 9, 8. All right. Well, great.
See you guys. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye now. We're disconnecting. Thanks, Sylvia.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.